Okay, so you've got it. That one brilliant business idea that just keeps you up at night, right? But then, right behind that excitement, the fear starts to creep in. What if it totally fails? What if you pour all your time and your money into something that nobody even wants? Well, that's exactly what we're tackling today. We're going to dive into Pat Flynn's book, Will It Fly, and basically build a pre-flight checklist for your idea to give it the absolute best shot at taking off.
I mean, ideas feel incredible, don't they? It's like Frank Lloyd Wright said, they can be salvation by imagination. And it's so true. That initial spark is it's so powerful. It promises this different, better future. And for a moment, you feel like anything is possible.
But the reality is, for all of that amazing energy, most ideas never go anywhere. They just stay as ideas, right? They're locked away in our heads or scribbled down in a notebook somewhere. Because, let's be honest, imagining is safe. It's the acting part that's risky. We just don't know, is this really the right one to go all in on?
And that right there is the core problem. It's that fear of wasting time, money, and just all that energy. It's what keeps so many of us stuck. It's literally the wall between being an entrepreneur and, well, a wantrepreneur. But what if there was a way to change that?
This is where Pat Flynn's whole concept really shines. He says, look, treat your business idea like an airplane. Before you even think about a full-scale launch, you have to put it through a flight simulator, a really rigorous one, to see if it can even get off the ground in the first place.
All right, so let's start right there, with your idea as it is right now. Basically, a grounded concept. And Flynn tells this perfect little story about this. It's about when he tried to teach his 3-year-old son, Keone, how to make a paper airplane.
So, what was Keone's first attempt? He just crumpled the paper up into a ball. I mean, he had all the enthusiasm in the world, but when he threw it, it just plopped right on the floor, totally grounded. But then, when Pat actually showed him how to fold the paper, how to give it wings and real structure, it just soared across the room. The lesson here is so simple, but it's huge. Raw passion just isn't enough. Your idea has to have structure.
Now, Flynn points to a few common reasons why ideas fail, and he's really open about his own mistakes. He says they basically came down to 2 big flaws. First, putting money ahead of actually serving people. And second, just rushing in head first without a real plan. And, a lot of this comes from that fear of failure being stronger than the fear of just doing nothing, combined with that nagging uncertainty of, will this even work?
Okay, so before we can even think about the market or customers, we've got to design our mission. We need a flight plan. In this first part, it's all about you. Think about it. NASA never launched a mission just because it sounded like a good idea, right? And neither should you.
Flynn calls this the airport test, and I love this. Just imagine it's 5 years from now and you bump into an old friend at the airport. They ask how you're doing, and you can genuinely, honestly tell them your life is amazing. Now pause. Ask yourself, what had to happen for you to say that and mean it? See, your business idea has to be the vehicle that gets you to that life. It's not supposed to be the other way around.
All right, next up is the Sharkbait Test. I want you to picture this. You're standing on the Shark Tank stage. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful himself, is staring you down. And he says, look, I could just hire someone to do this. Why should I invest in you? What makes you so special? What's your answer?
And look, this isn't just about your product's features. This is about your personal superpower, your unfair advantage. Take Pat Flynn's story. He was selling a study guide for an architecture exam, and then the official organization came out with their own guide. He thought he was toast, totally done for. But you know what his customers told him? His advantage was that he was just a regular guy who'd actually taken the test. He was relatable. A faceless organization could never compete with that. That's an unfair advantage.
Okay, so our mission is designed, we know where we're going. Now, it's time to enter the flight simulator. This is the fun part. This is where we stop all the guessing and we actually start testing. The whole goal here is to validate your idea with a real small piece of your target market before you sink a ton of time and money into building the whole thing.
And this right here, this is the critical mindset shift. The old way was basically a prayer, right? If you build it, they will come. It's a huge risk. The smart way, the will it fly way, completely flips that. It says if they pay you, then you build it. That's not a prayer, that's a data-driven decision.
So the big question is, how do we actually do this? What does the pre-flight check inside the simulator look like? Well, it's actually a surprisingly simple process. Let's break it down. Okay, here's the 4-step method.
First, you don't go out and try to build an audience from scratch. No way. You find where your potential customers already hang out online. Next, you just listen. You look for the hand raisers, the people who are actively talking about a problem that you can solve. Then, you actually interact with them. You talk to them directly and share your solution. And finally, the moment of truth, you ask for the transaction. A small pre-order, something to prove their interest is real.
And this quote from Chris Ducker just nails it. The whole process is built on genuine connection. It's not B2B or B2C anymore, it's P2P, people to people. This isn't about some slick sales trick. It's about really understanding someone's problem and basically co-creating the solution with them.
But you might be thinking, does this stuff actually work in the real world? Absolutely. Let's look at Joey Cornman. He had this idea for a super complex motion graphics course. Instead of spending months building it, he ran one webinar. Just one. He pre-sold 20 spots and made $5,000 before he had even created a single lesson. That's validation.
Or how about Noah Kagan's famous 24-hour challenge? His idea? A beef jerky subscription service. Did he build a fancy website? Nope. Did he buy a bunch of inventory? Not at all. He just got on the phone, started taking pre-orders, and proved the concept by making $1,000 in profit in a single day. So, you've run your idea through the simulator. You've got some data, you've seen the results. Now what? What does it all mean?
This is so important to understand. The goal here isn't to guarantee a perfectly smooth flight with zero turbulence. I mean, nothing can promise that. But what it does do is guarantee you're not about to launch a plane that has no wings. It eliminates the massive risk of building something nobody wants. It gives you the confidence to either hit the launch button or to pivot, saving you your most precious resources, your time and your money.
Look, at the end of the day, starting anything new involves some risk. But as JFK said, the cost of action are far less than the long-range risks of comfortable inaction. Staying grounded, letting that fear keep your amazing idea locked away in the hangar forever, that's the biggest risk of all. This whole process is about taking smart, calculated action instead of just staying comfortable.
So, the question for you is pretty simple. Your idea is sitting right there on the runway. You now have the flight plan. You have the tools for the simulator and the checklist for takeoff. It's time to stop dreaming and, well, it's time to start folding. Let's see if it'll fly.
All right, that's a wrap on today's summary. Thanks for listening. If this book summary sparked your curiosity or gave you new insights, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you won't miss our next summary. Keep reading, keep growing, and see you in the next one.